Hello and welcome to the Slingshot channel, or should I say Instant Legolas channel. This video is rather special because I want you to go and watch someone else's video over there at Todd's workshop. So here is the link, if I can manage, otherwise you find it down there. Please watch Todd's video and then come back here because I have some comments for you. I see you're back, that's very good. And I think I know how you feel, because when I watched Todd's video for the first time, I just had a problem getting my jaw back into place. It is amazing. Here's a few things I have to say about it. First of all, I think it's the best Instant Legolas video ever. I mean, better than mine and better than anyone else's. I think so. Of course, the future is yet to come, but so who knows? But I love everything about it. Like the craftsmanship that went into his medieval version of the Instant Legolas is just amazing. What a piece. It's beautiful. It's even decorated. Imagine that. And also, obviously, it's great functionality. And also the enhancements that he did, like to make it field strippable and so on. It's just ingenious. So he made this thing really better than I was hoping for. Congratulations. Then, of course, to bring Joe Gibbs in. That is an amazing feature in itself. No doubt, Joe Gibbs is probably the best, the most competent warbow shooter in the world, on the planet. I know no one else who can do stuff that Joe can do. And to bring him in, to see him shooting this thing, and to hear his opinion is absolutely amazing. It gives this thing so much more credibility. And then when I saw that Joe was able to take a 120-pound bow and do 5 shots in just 8 seconds, that is something. I mean, that is absolutely amazing. I never thought it would be so good for someone who is as experienced as Joe. I thought it was just a bow for beginners, make it easier for them to learn. But to see that even a guy like Joe massively benefits from it, that is something. I also think that if I look at it, Joe said that for him, shooting the SIL with a 120-pound bow was like shooting a 150 or 160-pound bow without the Instant Legolas attached. I think that is because Joe developed this very specific muscle set that is suitable for his kind of draw. I can't replicate it, but he has a very special way of drawing out a longbow. And seems like he has perfectionized this kind of motion, and now it's a little different, therefore he would have to get used to it first. But my guess is that if he would practice with that for a few weeks, he'd probably feel no difference, because the friction is absolutely the same. There is no power vector that would increase the friction. So the friction is the same no matter if you have a 10-pound bow or a 1,000-pound bow, because the friction is just between the rails and the system here. So friction isn't the issue. It's like the position. Also, Joe was shooting very, very, very quickly. Much more quickly than he can without the Instant Legolas. And that, of course, is more exhausting. So I think these are the two reasons. It's a new type of cocking motion. And also, he was shooting so fast that he was getting tired very quickly. So I believe if he would take his time and shoot more slowly, plus, if he would practice this for a while, he would have no disadvantages. And then, of course, the absolutely terrifying editing thing that Todd did when he was showing like the attack of the Joe clones. Like 5 of these guys shooting at the same time with such a high rate of fire. It's absolutely frightening, because it gives you an idea what would happen if you take a whole battalion, like 500 to 800 people shooting with this thing instantaneously. Or imagine the Battle of Crécy, where some people say that the English had 14,000 archers. That would mean that within 8 seconds they would be able to shoot 70,000 arrows. Not 17, 70,000 arrows. And probably like 25,000 of those would be in the air at the same time. That's a truly frightening imagination. Imagine how it would be to be on the receiving end of that kind of attack. Wow. It's an epic piece of video that Todd did, and I absolutely think it should get 10 million views or more. Now, very much the best part for me personally of his video was when he said that the instant Legolas inspires people to speculate about medieval history. I mean, my little invention inspiring people to think about history, that makes me so proud. You cannot believe. I'm almost bursting with pride now. Thanks, Todd. These are truly kind words. So, Todd believes that my invention inspires people to think about medieval history. Specifically, how would this be employed in medieval times if it would have been invented? Well, Todd says, and he has a point, that he sees logistics as a big problem, because if you fire arrows that quickly, you will need a much bigger supply of arrows. I have two things to say about this. First of all, the arrows that you can shoot in the instant Legolas are shorter. This means that they're easier to make and cheaper, and also probably not as bulky. So this definitely helps a little bit. On the other hand, I can also tell you that there is no historical example for when a more deadly weapon type was invented, that weapon was not immediately used and adopted. So, and when they came up with like repeating guns and then machine guns and so on, always critics said, well, this only means that we have to get a lot more ammunition, and that is so costly and so hard to transport, it won't make it, we'll stay with these lower reloading weapons. It all turned out to be wrong, because a more deadly weapon is more desirable to the military and will be adopted. And logistics, those problems will simply be solved, I guarantee. Military finds a way to do that. Probably not very efficient, but the stuff will be there when it is needed. And I think that would have been very much the same thing. I'm still kind of scared by the thought of 70,000 arrows shot within 8 seconds. Okay, now back to what is this here, because when I post a video I want to show you something new, even though I don't have a great many things to show you. Because this is the Fenris. I already showed it to you attached to a compound bow. The first commercially produced version of the instant Legolas, made in Austria by Steambow. When I showed it, I mean, we've been completely blown away by the demand. We originally wanted to produce 85 to 100 pieces only, depending on the yield of the first production run. And those were sold out within 7 hours after I uploaded the video, even though it's over 1,000 euros. Most people actually bought it together with the bow, so it's 1,200 euros. And 36 hours later, the first entire amount of product that we had in mind for a year, like 500 pieces, were sold out. So now we will of course produce more. It will take a while, but we will produce more. And also, since these were only reservations, we're having like a standby list. So if you want, you can still send an email to fenris@gogun.de and reserve yours. And maybe if you're lucky, you'll be given the chance to buy one. Otherwise, you simply have to wait a little bit longer. In any case, a lot of people asked, can you also attach the Fenris to a recurve bow? Well, in theory, yes. A modern recurve bow usually also has the attachments for a standard arrow rest and also for a sighting system. So therefore, it should be possible. So I bought one on Amazon. This one here is the complete package, and this one is the 60-pound version. They also have weaker versions and probably also a 70-pound version, although that was not available when I tried to order it. So 60 pounds is the strongest one I could get. It seems well made. It's not very expensive. Complete set with arrows, everything was just 200 euros. I tried to attach this to it, but I found that actually the arrow rest was too low, and also the recess of the this open riser bow was not as deep as it would be on a compound bow. So therefore I had to make this little adapter plate here that actually puts the entire rail system a little bit higher and also a little bit back, so that now it fits wonderful. So if you see, this could not be mounted any more close to this here, so it's just about perfect. And very solid, and it turns this very simple weapon into a totally accurate, powerful, high-speed shooting device. Now, of course, this is not a compound, so it will get harder and harder the more you draw out, and in the end you have the peak resistance, which is about 60 pounds, but you have the little lever in front, which makes it a lot easier to control. It is still some kind of a let-off. So if I draw this out, then I can hold it here, and I can hold it with just one finger. 60 pounds, you can do this with just the index finger. So that is beautiful. And of course, I still have my sighting system. And the beauty is I don't even have to shoot it in every time I switch it between the compound bow and this one. It's just because the accuracy is all in the Fenris. It doesn't really matter much where the power is coming from. So, of course, the trigger is a little harder because this has no let off. So the whole 60 pounds are on the trigger sear here. Whereas on a compound bow, there is of course much less strain in fully cocked condition. But that doesn't mean that you cannot control the bow. In fact, it's a very accurate and fine shooting weapon. What I absolutely love about the Fenris is that you can also field strip it, just like you can with the model that Todd made for the medieval bow. So, because all you need is different rail system. So this is the simple rail system that you can actually get for bows that have two threaded holes, mounting holes for an arrow rest, like this one here, which is the EK Archery Assassin. And then it, of course, it is very, very simple and straightforward. You simply attach it with the 2 screws and you're done. Now the other one is a little bit more complicated because it's for bows that only have one of these mounting holes. And then it stabilizes the whole thing by attaching to the holes, threaded holes for the sighting system, so that it cannot turn. Because otherwise you have a long lever, and if that would not be completely assembled, then it would actually not be very accurate. So 2 different versions of these rails, but once you got them installed, you can quickly exchange the Fenris. If I want to change my Fenris over from this one to the compound bow, it is very simple. I have this thumb screw here, which I simply remove. So, put it in my pocket, take out the entire trigger sear part, put it in my pocket as well. Then I can take the Fenris and slide it out to the front. Don't have to remove the string, no nothing. And now you can see that this one actually is attached to this original screw here down here, because this bow only has one mounting hole for an arrow rest. And as you see by the little adapter plate, and then that connects to 2 more screws. And it is attached also to the sighting mounting holes. And now I can take this and install it to my compound version. Install it into the Fenris, like so. Slide in the string. Put in the trigger sear part. Take the thumb screw. Tighten it. Like so. Okay, and be in business. As you see, it is not necessary to sight it in again. Now looking at this, it seems to me that it could be a good idea to develop like a foldable arrow rest, probably a whisker biscuit, something like that, so that you could take it off and then simply fold out the whisker biscuit and shoot without the instant Legolas, in case you have it attached to some other bow. One of the further advantages, see, this is a takedown bow, so you can simply remove the bow limbs by removing these 2 screws here. And then of course previously you have to take off the bowstring. And actually in this set you also get a help string that makes it very simple for you to do that. But once you've done this, the bow actually will completely fit into this bag that they give you. And guess what? The Instant Legolas fits in the same bag. So you can simply put this in additionally, and then you have everything in here. Your arrows, your bow, your bowstring, everything is there, and so you can assemble it in the field, and all the room it takes is this. Isn't that great? So many ingenious little things that the Austrians have done. See these little screws here? You see that they are sitting on slots, so you can adjust the horizontal position of the Fenris so to perfection, so that the string actually runs perfectly straight through the slot. This means there is no chafing, no nothing. This means that your string is going to last a long time. I think it's very important. So, the Fenris. Hurry if you want to be on the waiting list. Otherwise, we'll get more later this year. And there will also be a low-cost version made from plastics like injection molding and so on. It will also be very fine shooting, and low-cost doesn't mean it's going to cost 50 euros and that's it. Our target price is more like 450 euros, maybe together with an inexpensive bow, hopefully. And we're not sure if we can reach that price. We'll have to see. Anyway, I'm still so happy that my little invention that I've been working on for 3 years is now so successful. Both commercially and also when it comes down to history. So I'm ending this video with a very happy, hope you liked it. Thanks, and yeah, bye. Bye. Okay, I know, one for you. You remember that I said I need to make myself fit again after the lockdown. Lockdown is pretty much over here in Germany. So fitness studios are open again. And imagine that, you can now, from today on, you can even take a shower after the sport. In any case, I've been doing this now for 1 month after a break of more like 2 years without any workouts. And I can tell you that I feel a lot stronger. And that's probably because of the secret muscle powder from Germany, Shape Up. Since I think I almost have my old strength fully back. So I can even post a picture of myself that I shot this morning. You would say now it's going to be demonetized. No need, because last week I left YouTube's partner program. So I'm no longer a monetized YouTuber. This means that you won't see any advertisements on this here, at least for now. If you're interested in this, I run a Facebook group, and we also offer the Shape Up powder on our website. Unfortunately, we don't ship to the US because too many of the bottles have been seized by US customs. After all, it's a white powder, and everybody knows that white powders are bad.